Hi everyone, Dani here. Welcome to Spenelli Speaks. Today we will be talking about Chapter 3 of Edward Rutherfurd's London. Now, if you are new here, what I have been doing is rereading Rutherfurd's London. I read this, I think, 2 years ago, and I have just been really itching to read it all over again. So while I'm doing that, I'm putting together these chapter summaries for you all out there to follow along with. Some of these chapters are a little hard to get through, so it's nice to be able to have something to refer to understand what the chapter is about, or to just kind of buddy read together. I not only have a Voxer group of a bunch of people who are reading along, but I also have a playlist that I'll leave in the description that has all of the chapter summaries. So if you aren't already subscribed, make sure you do that and hit the notification bell, as I do have several more chapters coming your way. But let's talk about Chapter 3. Now, Chapter 3 is called the Rood. And if you know what a rood is referring to the piece of wood that Jesus Christ was sacrificed on. So that's what that is referring to in this particular chapter. This chapter takes place in 604 AD. So this is when we see a lot of Christianity, and specifically Catholicism, being thrown into the mix, and a lot of converting happening. So that's really the main plot of this particular chapter. And as we get in specifics, we have a wife and husband who are just at each other's throats as it comes to this converting. We have Elfgivia, who is a pagan, and she is very much a part of her faith, and is very stricken and very concerned about trying to convert to something she is not aware of, she doesn't know anything about, and she is very a part of her own faith. It's been a part of her entire life. However, her husband, who is a major landowner, he's not a king, but he is very high up there. He's just, let's convert because the king is converting. So basically he's under the kind of idea that if the king says to do it, you do it, so you stay on his good graces. But he doesn't really know much about Christianity. He doesn't really know much about Catholicism. He just kind of does it on a whim, and he expects everyone else that he tells to convert. And it's a huge point of contention between him and his wife. So much so that he says he's going to get a new wife. He says he's going to leave her. He's going to do all these things, which, I mean, little does he know, in Catholicism, they do not do divorce, and they do not do polygamy. So I don't really know what he thinks he's going to do, but it's not right, essentially. So we have those two characters. So we have Elfgivia and then her husband, Cerdic. Then we meet another couple, and this is where we see that white tuft of hair, webbed fingers man again in Opha. And he is married to a young wife whose name is Ricola, and they are found, we find them in the chapter almost being killed, kind of. Well, definitely Ricola. Essentially, one of the aldermen in their village, which is just a small, like, in the woods pattering of people, wanted to get some of Ricola, and she shooed him away, and basically, through a couple pieces of events that are tied very loosely together, they say she's a witch. So they're going to throw her in a sack with a bunch of snakes and into the river. And then they're going to shave Ulfa's head and basically kick him out of the village. So he is kind of a wonton. And this almost happens. They're both kind of naked on the side of the river there, and Elfgivia comes across them, and she sees it as a sign that she should take them in. So she takes them both in as slaves, and yeah. So they come to the great land of London, at still Londinium at that time. And they are her slaves now. And specifically, Ricola is like her woman in waiting, I guess you could say, but she's right there, her right-hand woman, and kind of hears her talk about her need to stay pagan, and she doesn't quite understand. And it's a battle of wills is really what it is, which is very fascinating, considering in the last 2 chapters we talked about the fact that the role of women has been so minuscule and so underappreciated, which obviously with the time frame it is what it is. But it's very interesting in this chapter to see Elfgivia really stand her ground and really make claim to her religion and not want to budge on that, and kind of see how that unfolds. Now, it doesn't unfold very well for anybody. Ricola tries to get involved, and then she ends up laying with Cerdic, and it's just so ridiculous. But in the end, Elfgivia does convert and becomes Godiva, and for me, I'm just like, no! She was so, like, she was holding to her guns the entire chapter, and then finally she submitted to her husband, essentially, for what he wanted, and converted to Christianity. So realistically, we have this battle between man and woman, man and wife, and in the end, the man wins, I guess. But overall, the whole chapter is about that struggle, about that converting, how that looks, the popes coming in, the bishops coming in, this continued structuring of St. Paul's Cathedral, and then we also have, there's a couple of things that happen, and Ulfa and Ricola are given their freedom and basically sent away, and he is still remembering these murmurings in his family about gold. So you see him kind of searching for that, and gosh, you hope he finds it. But not in this chapter, everyone. Not in this chapter. So that's the main point and the main people of this particular chapter. I really liked this chapter the second time around. The first time around, I felt like I was bored by it, but the second time around, I was very interested and very enthralled with this struggle between Elfgivia and Cerdic. So it was very interesting to me. So I hope it's interesting to you. If you have any other questions about that particular chapter, please feel free to leave it in the comments. If you're reading along, let me know what you thought in the comments. We'll be moving on to chapter 4 very, very soon. So like I said, keep that notification bell on, and we will see you in our next chapter. Until then, I hope you are reading something fantastic, taking care, staying safe, and as always, you know how it goes. Happy reading. Bye.